Welcome to Own the Chaos. The stock market is crazy and chaotic.
And crash. You son of
Oh, God. Hold on. Pause.
Brad and Fat Man Zoom are here to help you own it.
They were targeting Wall Street when they should have been targeting Capitol Hill. They should have been targeting DC. This is the same thing, and this is what people keep missing.
Taking it to the suits, being relatable and hilarious.
You bought GameStop at 400, didn't you? To the moon, baby. To the moon.
Get ready to own the chaos in 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Own the Chaos. My name is Brad. That is Fat Man Zoom. The stock market is crazy and chaotic, and we made it our mission to help you own it. A huge day today on the books, Fat Man Zoom. But before we get to all of that, why don't we hit him with the starting five?
Starting five, we have Sean Ethier, Sam Cisneros, Mysterious Gals, Mayank Rawat, and Daquan Blackwell, or Daquan. Not sure how you pronounce that. Guys, you are the starting five. Shout out, we got a donation for Karem Bastanki. We're not even wasting any time. Thanks for the donation. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Guys, don't leave him alone. Don't leave him solo. Yeah, it's going to be a good day, guys. Welcome to the party, the live stream. We got a lot going on.
Yes.
But first, we have a thumbnail pose off to take care of. So, bear with us. Let's just do the double right now.
Do the double. Sounds dirty.
Earnings reaction. Camera one.
So we are on camera one.
Sorry, camera two.
Okay.
This growth stock can triple your money. Will it? Why I bought Wish. All right, camera three. Robinhood Ipo. Guys, did you know this? We're going through the Robinhood IPO. Robinhood IPO. What to expect? What are we going to get? What's going to happen?
I like that. I like that.
All right.
All right.
Guys, this is what we got on the books. Lastly, if you haven't been here before, this is our live stream. We're going to go over those topics. At the end, the market closes. We're actually going to do earnings reaction. We got some big earnings today. We got Facebook, PayPal are probably the top two I think we're looking at, but we got a few others that we'll go over. So let's get this out of the way. Just hit that like button. Hit that like button if you're excited about the content we're about to give.
We had over 200. Actually, it was like 230 by the time we ended the live stream yesterday. Let's try to see if we can at least match or beat that number. I would really appreciate it if we beat that number. So let's try to get that number up. Certainly would appreciate the love, support, all that good stuff.
Do you think Facebook earnings is going to carry our live stream today?
It could. There's Ford too. There's a lot of Ford holders. As well.
Yeah, Ford. I would be happy with 100 today, if I'm being honest with you. I'm not expecting much out of the live stream today. I hope I'm wrong.
Low expectations.
I hope I'm wrong. I don't see the excitement. Yesterday was a monster.
Yesterday was a monster, but we got 72 people hanging out already.
No, I mean like earnings wise. We had Microsoft, Apple, Alphabet. I mean this doesn't compare to yesterday.
It's true.
But I could be wrong.
But we might have retained some people and they're coming back just to hang out today.
That's true. It's like subscribers.
Yeah.
People who new subscribers.
Exactly.
I hope so. But just like to be realistic. So 250 would be great. I expect a little bit of a down day today, a little bit of pullback, but for the run up tomorrow, Amazon earnings, I think tomorrow's going to be a monster.
Amazon earnings and the Robinhood IPO, I think, is going to be a big day for us tomorrow.
Yeah. Jeff Panika said, give us a pose for Clove doubling. I don't think Clove doubled. I wish it did.
Not yet.
But it's looking good. So,
yeah.
Anyways, how's your account doing? I think probably most people in the Chaos crew are similar to us. I imagine you had the normal move. It was red in the morning, and then
it was red this morning
by a move after the Fed.
Yeah, it was red probably about like 2.5%, 3%, and now it's up around 4.25% today. So I'm up about $1,300. Feeling pretty good about that today. Primarily, what's carrying it is OIH. For me, our OIH, Affirm, and Airbnb are the big winners. Oh, and Cleveland Cliffs. Sorry. Cleveland Cliffs announced that they've taken away 10% of the dilution that was going on in the stock.
Oh, nice.
They bought back a bunch of shares. So that stock's been skyrocketing. I'm up almost 13.25% on Cleveland Cliffs. So I feel really good about that.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, what about you?
Pretty good day. I'm up 2%, and mine's It's interesting. I'm glad we realized this because it makes a lot more sense because it's been bugging me. But I'm always like, how are you up so much more than me from a percentage basis? 'Cause,
Yeah.
And we realized it was because of the margin. You have far more margin leverage than I do.
Yeah.
Just because of the nature of how big the account is. But 2% day, really good. I'm happy with it. Really, a couple things didn't fill for me. I was really hoping that I'd get a Baba fill. That didn't happen. I'm going to keep the order in. I had a Baba fill, and then AMD. That didn't happen. I had a nice run today. But overall, good. I did get my Alphabet yesterday, which worked out well.
Yeah.
But account's looking good. Lululemon is my big winner. It's been my big winner for a while, but it's kind of stuck around right below 400. So I'm hoping it breaks that 400 in the coming weeks.
Yeah, that would be sweet. That would be awesome if it did. And I think there's potential for that to happen, especially with as much as we're seeing, retail spending just continue to go crazy. We talked about revenge spending. I don't know if anybody was quite prepared for just how much spending was going to be going on amongst Americans, but it's pretty wild. I mean, some of the numbers that we've seen from Crocs and you had Under Armour, right, as your Zoom snack of the day?
No, I was just at the Under Armour.
Oh, I didn't even watch it.
Boeing.
Well, that should be your next Zoom snack of the day. But I think Under Armour's upcoming earnings are going to be pretty monstrous as well, especially as much as it come down. So yeah, retail spending and just spending in general is really going to continue to carry the market. I love it, man. By the way, did you just hear Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Yeah, it's good to hear him back.
We had Jay Aram returning to be our Chaos crew member. So thanks so much for that. If you guys want Steve Austin to shout out your name, hit the join button next to subscribe, become a channel member.
Shout out to Kamal Ryan. New here, bought more AMD and Penn. Thanks. You did that, friend.
Yes.
Hope you got a good cost basis on AMD.
Yeah.
Looks good, but
it was up 8% today, over 8%.
I'm not chasing AMD.
Wild, man.
Good luck with that. But we feel really bullish. We like it. We've liked AMD for a while.
Yeah.
Nvidia looked really good today, but Penn, hoping this gets a move on it. Just feels like there's a lot of good stuff going that this could happen. So
absolutely,
we'll see. I just gotta say this on air. You texted me last night about focusing on Penn because we're bullish on Penn.
Yeah.
And there was no strategy. There was just a desperate tweet. Hey, can we have somebody on from Penn?
No, I wasn't saying, hey, I said I would love to have somebody on from Penn.
Yeah.
Listen, you got to
ask. You got to get. No,
that's not true. Have you seen Dave Lee? Have you seen Dave Lee? He is an Elon Musk whore. As much as I love that.
Has he had Elon on?
No, but
there you go.
He's had Elon retweet his tweets and respond to his tweets, and that is still a big deal. That's why he's got so many people on Twitter. So there's definitely something. You got to shoot your shot at some point.
At some point. But I think there's also something to be said to have somebody want you. You could want it, but have somebody want you.
Yeah, for sure. But there's only one way that's going to happen is if you just keep tagging him and shit.
That you're like the guy. I'm going to roast you for a second. You're like the guy at the networking event that just asks everybody what they does and gets here's give me your business card. Give me your business card. And
hold on.
Back.
This whole tweet was not just, and I can show you the tweet. It was a video of both of us talking about Penn and how much we loved it. So it wasn't just like, hey Dave, come follow us. There was context to it.
I thought I was like, I felt bad. You seem like the side chick that reached out on Twitter.
That's not true. Some people argue that you're the side chick on this channel.
Oh, I clearly am the side chick on the channel. I don't deny that. I don't deny that.
I'm just messing with you.
Well, let's do this. I bet I'll get us a meeting with Drive Shack before you get us a meeting with Penn.
That's not even comparing apples to apples.
Okay, well then flip it. I'll get us a meeting with Penn before you get us a meeting with Drive Shack. I don't care how you want to do it. I don't care what you. So all right. How about this? I bet I get us a meeting with Drive Shack before you get us a meeting with Drive Shack. How's that? That's apples to apples.
Well, first of all, I will already concede because you're the great connector.
Oh,
there's nobody.
On.
No, there's nobody nobody that is a better connector of people than this man right here, and he can deny it all he wants, but it's the truth.
Keep going.
I'm just saying it is.
Oh man, I just wanted a little friendly competition.
You have to compare apples to apples. If I'm going to try to go after Dave Portnoy, it's got to be somebody of equal.
But why can't we go after Drive Shack?
I mean, if we.
That's what I'm saying. We go after the same thing.
I mean, yeah, we can do that.
I mean,
That's fine. That makes sense.
I mean, it only makes sense just because of the timing of it. And Drive Shack seems like it's likelier to happen sooner.
Yeah.
Like if we actually focused on doing it,
Yeah.
I think we can do it. We should do it. We've been talking about
We should do it
anyways.
anyway.
It
Yeah.
makes sense.
It only benefits us.
But I do think I believe that it's not as hard as we think. I'm not saying Portnoy's hard, but like getting somebody from Penn, I think that's very possible.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it was that hard, but we could start with Drive Shack. We can sort of refine our systems, and then we can go after Penn.
So we got to play in the minor leagues first, is what you're saying.
I don't want to call Drive Shack minor leagues, but yeah, I mean, for us, the big fish is Penn.
Yes.
And so we get a little bit of practice. So anyways, sorry, I digress.
I think the people enjoyed that.
Darren Anderson said, get a meeting with Apple.
Tim Cook. Yeah, right.
That's not impossible.
Do I look like a Marquez Brownlee to you? I don't think so.
Did he meet with Apple?
Dozens of times.
Not with Tim Cook?
Yes.
Tim Cook? That's pretty cool.
Yes.
I mean, I do think that's going to happen more and more. Where like,
Oh, yeah, 100%.
the CEOs are going to go towards those people. I don't think you know this, but I don't want to say I have an in with Barstool, but I do have an unfair advantage with Barstool.
That doesn't surprise me.
Not Dave Portnoy, but I think I could like Big Cat, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Which would be fun.
That dude's hilarious.
If you could have one person on the channel, who would it be? Could be anything. Stock related, not stock related.
One person on the channel?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that is really, really tough. Honestly, this might sound kind of crazy, but I would love to just talk with Kathy Wood.
Really?
Yeah, I think that would be so awesome.
I think it's smart to have somebody on the channel that you could have a continual relationship beyond the first one. And I think you'd be able to continue a relationship with her.
Yeah.
Like you'd be able to get her number and like text.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think you could. Oprah Winfrey. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, honestly, it would have to. You guys already know it's going to be Jamal.
Jamal, yes.
It's got to be Jamal because I think we'd be boys. I think I
agree.
could get his number, and I think I would be playing poker with him. I think we'd be doing all the things.
I think you
super connected.
You could show him a thing or two about leg day.
Maybe a little bit, not too much either. I definitely have better legs than him, but nothing to write home about.
You're at least evenly proportioned.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So, anyways, Elon Musk would be a bore. Maybe. I don't think so.
My struggle with Elon was like I wouldn't know how to hold a conversation with somebody like him.
It'd be really tough. Like you have to be really confident in yourself.
Yeah.
Because he's quiet. Like he's thoughtful. So like he's very intentional. He's monotone. And so the energy level would be very low.
Yeah. Like I definitely could see myself holding a much better conversation with somebody like Kathy Wood or even Chamath than somebody like Elon.
Yeah.
Like
I would
the
agree.
cool factor would be like way up here, but like actually like executing something like that would probably be really challenging.
I mean, Dave Portnoy would be great because he would literally like give you so many cool sound bites.
Yeah.
He'd give you
For
better
sure.
sound bites than anybody else would
Absolutely.
give you sound bites.
Yeah.
Dank Frags, just got here. Love the stream. Waiting on Ford. What are your thoughts on it? We will get to that. So let's
Yes.
just get into the topics. Why don't you kick it off?
All right. So, Fat Man Zoom,
Yes.
I bought some Wish. And I'm wishing that it goes to $20. No, not all seriousness.
Well, if it triples, it's got to go to
If
30.
If it triples, it's got to go to 30, which it was at 30 at one point. It was at 32 and some change was the all-time highs for Wish. So, guys, you know that if you've been following the channel for any length of time, that I've actually been in and out of Wish. I've made a pretty decent amount of money on this, just kind of playing the momentum, and it's gotten down so far. It's gotten so far down at this point that it seems like it's a decent buy now. We're looking at Wish right now, and it is less than 2 times trading less than 2 times its PE. Which you compare it to some of the other e-commerce, most of the other e-commerce ones, and I can't find any of them that are lower than Wish right now, that are trading 3 to 5 times their PE. And so I like it just based off of that, the undervalued, it's being traded at a discount. I'm not saying that Wish goes crazy or goes nuts, but I think there's definitely a case that could be made that it will double from here. I equate Wish And I told this guy to our folks in the Chaos crew, I equate Wish, Fat Man Zoom. Do you remember Spencer's Gifts back in the day?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so like that's kind of what I think Wish is like. Even though you can get some stuff on there that I guess maybe halfway decent, but most of the stuff on there is just kind of like cheap knockoff stuff or whatever. But it's gotten big enough to where the NBA sponsors them, or they sponsor the NBA. And so like there's definitely something here. And I think it's certainly worth more than $9 a share. And that's where I ended up actually getting this at. I got it at $9.77. So I think that the level in which this is oversold, we saw this come down to around $8.80, which was its recent bottom. Saw this start to gain some momentum yesterday and into today. So I think that the closer this creeps to the 50-day moving average at around $10.46, I think we could start to see a really nice reversal out of this. So this wasn't necessarily me trying to time it because I didn't get the absolute bottom, which I rarely do, but I wanted to kind of catch the momentum here. And I think that there's certainly a possibility that we could see this turn into at least potentially double. And there is upside here to potentially $32, which that was a recent all-time high, $32.85. It's down over 60% from there. I think that this could be a potential solid buy.
What is the PE?
The PE is just under 2 times. The forward PE is just under 2 times earnings.
Oh, got it. So what's your strategy on this? I know you added to it. You got into it today, then you added it to it.
Correct.
Do you plan to add more to it, and what's your exit strategy?
So yeah, I have about, I would say maybe a quarter of what I would consider a full position size on Wish. And so my strategy here is to have a stop at 880. If it falls below 880, I think there's definitely potential for it to come down even further. So I'm willing to cut losses there. And then again, we look at the chart, you can kind of see where I'm coming from here. If it falls below that 880, I think that there's potential that it comes back down to perhaps retest 750, which is its previous low. But if this breaks up over the 50-day moving average, I think I'm going to hang on to this for a little bit and maybe add to it there. There's no shame in averaging up. And I think people kind of get lost on that sometimes. But I think averaging up here could make sense if we see a break over the 50-day. And then I would look to be taking some sort of profit off the table if we got this somewhere around $15, which I think is certainly achievable in the near term.
Yeah, that's a good call. I like it. And I was looking at the chart. It looked like you added at a good time. Guys, this has been on our watch list. And if you guys are interested in getting our watch list, which is a daily free watch list, 5 stocks that we're watching every day, we send it out before the market opens. Go click the link in the description. It'll send you to Own the Chaos, and you can get those stocks as well. Wish has definitely been on there a couple times, and I know you've been waiting to pull the trigger. Good stuff. All right. How many people got in the house?
We got 150 of you guys hanging out here. So again, thanks for allowing us to be a part of your afternoon and hanging out and to get our live reactions from Facebook, Ford, PayPal, and a few others. If you guys could hit that thumbs up, we certainly would appreciate it. Right now, we got about 43. We're shooting for at least over 100. I was being ambitious earlier, but Fat Man Zoom brought me back down to earth. So let's just try to get it up over 100. And so we certainly would appreciate the support and love and getting that content pushed out to the YouTube-averse.
Thursday, July 29th. If you're watching this as a clip, it's today. Robinhood IPO. So tomorrow, for you guys watching this live, tomorrow is a Robinhood IPO. I want to talk a little bit about it. I got a couple questions to consider, but this should actually be the biggest IPO of the year. Unfortunately, all the drama surrounding it, I think it's far less of a spectacle as it could have been, but it's still, I would argue, one of the bigger IPOs as far as anticipated.
Yep.
But there's a lot of questions around it, so I want to get into it. The few things I want to tackle in this conversation are obviously IPO strategy. Would you buy it, or if you were thinking about buying it, how would you play the IPO? I want to know, is this a long-term opportunity? Is it a buy for you long-term? And then I just want to talk about the opportunity and the revenue strategy. Well, I'll give some details about. So let's start with just the IPO. So Robinhood's going to be trading under ticker symbol HOOD, which I think is horrible.
It is horrible.
HOOD. And then, so you guys know, because this question comes up a lot, I'm going to go ahead and explain this. Tomorrow, there will be no set time. Like, I can't tell you what time it'll open on the market, but it will happen tomorrow. And it's usually, I think we found, Brad, that it's usually like right after lunch, like 12 to 1 Eastern time.
Yep, I was just about to say, like 12 to 1. It's been as late as like 1:30 before.
Yeah, so what you can do is you don't have to wait around for it. If you have a price you like, put a limit order in, and it actually will fill if it is under that at any point in time. So that's a cool little hack that I didn't realize until last year, but you can go ahead and put your limit order in if you have your established price, which I think is a smart thing to do with IPOs so you don't get emotional.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, let's just talk about the IPO. And what are your general thoughts when you think about the IPO? What do you expect tomorrow?
I think it's just going to react like every other IPO. We could see a really huge pop right out of the gate, and then it probably fizzles out a little bit. We see this kind of come down until we see initial earnings from them or some other catalyst that could potentially propel this back up. I believe the starting price is around $35 is the
I believe so.
Somewhere around there. So the IPO price is going to come in around $35. I would imagine that we could see this in upwards of $70 to $75 a share, maybe even higher. So, do you chase this thing? I don't think so, unless you're really good at day trading and you just want to be in and out just to play it, just to say you did it. I did that with Airbnb back in December. It was fun. It wasn't for me to kind of make any kind of crazy money. But if you just go into it with that mindset, I'm not going to be mad at you for it. But I will also say that I am not confident in Robinhood's ability to continue to carry this. That being said, they have a huge following. Every time I talk to a new investor, the first thing that comes to mind is Robinhood. It's like they don't know any other brokerage exists, which is good, I guess, on Robinhood's part. They've been able to get that brand out of there, but I don't like the brokerage, period. I don't like the CEO. We've gone over this before for obvious reasons, but I don't know how bullish I am on this long term.
Yeah, so a few things to get at. Looks like the range is going to be from $38 to $42 as far as the analyst expectations on where it's going to open up at. There's so many question marks, and I think a lot of the questions that come to mind with Robinhood is, so the first is, how is the Reddit community and the meme stock, the retail investor going to view Robinhood?
Yeah.
And are they going to put them in their crosshairs, or are they not just going to care? Because one could argue that they could make a movement to kind of give it back to the man, and the best way you can do that is if they go public, tank the price, right?
Yeah.
So is there a community, is there like a Reddit sub-community that's like, let's short this thing? That would be ironic.
Crazy. I mean, so many Redditors are so against, the shorts and institutional shorting, and then all of a sudden they end up turning into it themselves. Yeah. That would be wild.
Yeah, and you could see that happening. And there's nothing that I have that indicates that. I'm just saying logically, like, they felt really betrayed by Robinhood and misled. So that's one of the storylines. The other storyline is revenue opportunity. Here's the thing about Robinhood. Robinhood, if you just look at it as a business and forget everything else, they changed the way things are done in the game.
Yep.
And they were the ones. Now, my issue with Robinhood, and this gets into longevity, is when you look at a business, you're looking at revenue opportunities, you're looking at growth, and you're looking at leadership. And that's one of the first things I look at. And I can't get behind anything that this Vlad guy does.
Yeah.
Like the CEO co-founder, to me, he's a snake. To me, he's fake, and he's the exact opposite of when you look at like Chamath and Dave. He just doesn't shoot it straight, and I just don't like him. Not saying I wouldn't like day trade or whatever, but I wouldn't put this in my investment account ever. If they have new leadership down the road, I would consider it, just because their model, like, they have strong brand awareness. I think the average trader, it's easy for them to get into Robinhood, and I think they don't really care about what happened with the short squeeze, because I don't think they understand what happened to be frustrated or feel whatever. I think to them, when Robinhood shut down, they just don't know enough to like make a decision on it. So I think the brand awareness and brand recognition is still with Robinhood. But a couple things to think about if I'm talking about a bullish perspective, because I don't want to just beat it down. I didn't realize this because I don't have Robinhood, but as I was doing my research, they don't have retirement accounts which they're looking to add, so that's an opportunity.
Yeah.
They don't. They're looking to do an Acorns type system, which like reinvest your spare change, which is cool. Like, I don't know how much this is going to amount to, but it's cool they're thinking about doing different things. I also didn't realize, and this could be wrong, this sounds wrong, but I saw somewhere that they don't offer margin, but I thought they did.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw. So that was just missed. I just wanted to double check with you. So they have growth in accounts. They have strong growth. They have strong brand awareness. I feel like there is definitely a bull case to it. My issue is they just got this whole. What they've got to do is they've got to move away from like order flow payment. So they've got to decide: are you with the retail investor, or are you the institutional investor? And they did one cool thing that could indicate that they're moving towards retail is they actually opened up the IPO to the retail investor.
Yeah.
The same time as the institution. They had to do that, I think.
Yes.
But at least they did something. So those are all things to consider tomorrow. We'll definitely be talking about it during the live stream. I'm excited about it. It's not a buy for me. And I do think that while it should do well, it won't do as well as it would have done if this would have been last year before all the drama happened.
Not just that. I mean, how confident would you feel holding Robinhood stock if news got released that they got, that they got the system went down? Or remember was it 2 years ago that they didn't account for leap year? So then that messed with a lot of people's accounts. There was bugs that were in this as far as margins. People were having unlimited margin on this. Then you have everything that went down with GameStop and all that. What happens now that this is a publicly traded company and you own it?
Yeah.
Something like that happens. I'm just not confident that something like that won't ever happen again.
Yeah, and I can't wait for the first earnings. I cannot wait.
The earnings call is going to be...
It's going to be atrocious.
Train wreck.
But the board has to realize quickly, get Vlad out of there.
Yeah.
He's the co-founder. Get him out of there. You don't need him for anything. Get somebody who knows how to run a business, and this could be an incredible business.
Yeah.
There is no value he is providing. If you want a quick boost to the stock, switch that CEO out.
I got WeWork vibes with Robinhood.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, for sure. So, guys, if you like the content, like and subscribe. We've got to move towards earnings as the market's about to close. Make sure you hit the notification bell.
Yeah, we got 220 of you guys hanging out. 63 likes, so appreciate that. We're well on our way to the 100 mark.
I don't appreciate that. Let's just hit the 100. Just hit the like, guys. What else are you doing right now?
And how much is it actually costing you to just
Hit the like.
Make the thumb turn blue?
The law of reciprocity, people.
All right, so today we have Facebook, we got PayPal, we got Ford. We also had some earnings this morning as well. Shopify knocked it out of the park, as well as Spotify. Spotify actually did pretty good too.
Yeah.
So some really good stuff. What are you most excited about this afternoon?
It's got to be Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be Facebook. Even though we kind of anticipate what's going to happen because we've seen all the social media companies really come in and crush, the ad spend and just go off. We had Google, Snap, Twitter. They all have been done really, really well on earnings. And I just expect Facebook to do what it does and show why it's the top dog.
Yep.
I'm excited about it. The question is, though, is it already just kind of built in? Is it baked into the price, what we've already seen, and are the expectations too high, like an Apple?
It's a very good question, and that's kind of how I felt about Facebook as well. I mean, it had a monster move when Twitter and Snap came out with their earnings last week, and then it moved again yesterday on Google's news. It does feel like it's a bit top-heavy. As much as we like the company, it would not surprise me to see a little bit of a selling off of the news here after everybody's been coming in and buying up the rumor.
I would not want to be in it. I would not get in it right now, but I will be hoarding shares if this thing goes down.
Yes,
If this
me
has
too.
like a 10% move down or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
I don't care what they say.
No.
I'm hoarding.
Yep, me too.
Speaking of a CEO that never leaves, would Zuckerberg ever leave? Would he ever leave?
Yeah, I think he'll go the way of Jeff Bezos.
Really?
Yeah.
And is it that big of a deal if he leaves?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think it might actually be a good thing if he leaves.
Facebook's almost too big to fail at this point.
So from a numbers perspective, earnings per share estimates, analysts have at $3.04. They typically beat. I think it's probably safe to say that we think they're going to beat. Last quarter, they came in at $3.30. 2 quarters ago was their record at $3.88. Can they beat that?
I think they can, and it looks like mostly everybody on Twitter believes the same thing. If you guys want to go follow me on Twitter, @OwnTheChaos, I put up a poll asking how everybody was feeling about the Facebook earnings, and 34 of you guys voted. 64%, 65% said great. 12% said they're nervous, and about a quarter of you said you don't care. So that is kind of the sentiment as well. I think that they do come in and crush earnings, Fat Man Zoom. The real question is just how are people going to react to it?
Yeah, I'm saying 369. I don't think this is a record, but I think a very solid earnings, 20% beat. For some reason, I've just been thinking about this augmented reality. I've been thinking about Oculus, and is that going to work out for them?
Yeah.
But if I'm a betting man, I'm betting that it's a sideways to downward reaction. I highly doubt you see a 5% move. They've got to do something crazy. Just because, this is, if you look at their balance sheet, this is like one of the most beautiful balance sheets you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't want to keep up too much time in it, but this is definitely going to be priority number one as far as looking for earnings. But we also have Ford and we have PayPal.
Yeah, Ford I'm actually pretty excited about too. I think Ford does it. We could see a turnaround for Ford this quarter after last quarter's kind of a lackluster move. The market's officially closed. We're about 90 seconds post-close here, or 90 seconds after the bell. No movement here from either one of these just yet. But we do have PayPal, Ford, and Facebook on the docket for earnings. And so as soon as we get those numbers and as soon as we start to see some move in some of the action here, we'll certainly be reporting the earnings numbers. It's so crazy, Fat Man Zoom. We look at all of these, Ford, Facebook, and PayPal, and the drop-off this morning was quite significant.
Yeah.
And the Fed comes in to save the day.
Let me just tell you,
wild.
This is interesting about Ford because they're expected a loss of 3 cents a share. They actually came in at 89 cents a share profitable last quarter.
Yeah.
But like the last three previous quarters, their surprise beat as a percentage, 238%, 600%, and 300%.
Jeez.
They're definitely padding the stats. Like,
Yeah.
the loss of 3 cents, they're going to come in positive.
They've been playing this game a long time, though.
Yeah, and
they know how to do it.
The cars are going to do it. Well, this is like, that was rare that they did that. I don't know if it's because of COVID.
Yep.
Because they've never seen it like this before. And so they're going to say the same things.
Yeah.
Supply chain and stuff.
Yeah, Qualcomm had earnings this afternoon as well. Totally skipped over that. But they came in and beat earnings, estimated earnings per share. The earnings per share are $1.92. The estimated earnings per share were $1.67. So looks like they knocked it out of the park. Sales were $8 billion compared to $7.5 billion estimated. It's now up almost it's 2.75% here after hours and rising. Pretty solid move out of Qualcomm. Looks like some pretty good numbers from them too.
Yeah. PayPal, I'm excited about as well. Again, another one where I think it's kind of, if it dips, I'm buying.
Yeah, I agree.
But they got a lot of good stuff that they've been announcing going on. I'm not sure what they're going to say that really gets the needle moving today, but man, PayPal's done a tremendous job. Really, since COVID started, they've been doing an incredible job.
Yep. Right now, PayPal came in and really kind of shot out of the gate at $303, and then obviously we saw this huge downturn to $296. It really had a roaring comeback in the late in the afternoon, much like everything else. It closed at 301.98. Right now, it's sitting at 302.07. I think they come in and knock it out of the park. We could see PayPal have a monster move, even though this is one of the few ones that I think that, like, even though it's moved up some, it could still have a really monster move. I would not surprise me to see this above 310 if they come in with some pretty solid numbers, which I expect them to do so.
Yeah, man. It could be a record for them as well.
I think so. I mean, just with the amount of spending that's been going on, small businesses coming back online, like PayPal benefits from everything. It benefited from the pandemic. It's going to benefit from a reopening. And we've said this about a lot of the stocks that did this: Facebook, Apple, all the other ones that are included in that. They benefited no matter what.
Yeah.
Whether you're locked in your house or not. So. And, typically that deserves a higher valuation. I wouldn't expect PayPal to be any different.
I think this is a great Delta variant stock.
Yeah.
One of the ones to think about.
Yep.
And obviously you're a big fan of Square. We haven't talked about that in a while, but Square, if this goes off, Square should have a sympathy move, I would expect.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think so. Qualcomm's still roaring right now, Fat Man Zoom. It is up 3.25% and climbing right now. Unbelievable move from them. Jeez. Wild move. All right. Looks like we got some movement on Ford. I'm not quite sure if that's for any particular reason just yet, but it looks like we might have some earnings numbers in from them. We'll just kind of wait and see here. But so far, so good. It's up like 1.5%.
Oh, that's good. Do we have anything for?
Looks like we do have some volume coming in here on that. Just shot up over $14.
All right, I'm checking the Twitter land.
Facebook is selling off here after hours as well. It's now down 2%. Pretty sharp move here. So it looks like we might have some numbers from them as well.
I think Ford might be in.
I forgot. Spirit Airlines also had earnings today. Fat Man Zoom. Might not be quite as significant, but it looks like there's some stuff moving around on that too. I'm sure Arfin will throw some numbers our way. Ford is actually continuing to climb.
Here we go. I got Facebook.
What you got?
Facebook beat 302 were the estimates. 361 it came in at.
Ooh, you were close.
20 beat on revenue as well. Estimates were 27.82 billion, came in at 28.55 billion.
Pretty good beat from Facebook, but it is selling off. Not really too much of a surprise here. Kind of what we expected with it running up in the earnings like this after some of the other social media platforms reported, as well as Google on ad revenue. That's pretty significant drop here, though. But as you said, Fat Man Zoom, I think this is going to be a huge opportunity. Right now, it's sitting at 359 after closing 373.
And we have Ford. Ford looks like they came in at 13 cents a share. Yep. So they beat
pretty handily.
Yeah, that's pretty good. They 13 cents a share. Revenue missed slightly. 24.13 billion was the actual, and it was actually estimated at 24.25 billion.
Yeah. A pretty solid move here on Ford here after hours. Now up 2.25%. Just a touched 14.20 after closing the day at 13.86. Yeah, I was expecting a pretty solid move out of Ford. If you look at the daily charts, their last quarter obviously didn't do all that hot, and it came out, but it ended up climbing up to 16.46, and that was on a quarter that really wasn't all that great. They expressed some struggles that they were having with the chip shortage and all that, and then it still ended up climbing to 16.46. This time around, it ended up pulling all the way back down to around $13. It had a really nice move back up, and today's move on this afternoon looks really solid for Ford. It's not one that's going to blow your doors off, but 2.5% for Ford is a pretty big deal after hours right now. Facebook, however, came in and beat earnings and had a pretty good solid quarter. It is down 5% now.
Wow.
After hours. And we saw this Fat Man Zoom from Microsoft, and then it came roaring back. So we could see a potential move like that out of Facebook as well. I think, in my opinion, this would be something that I would for sure probably take advantage of any kind of overreaction, which seems like that could be the case here. Not saying to do it right now, folks. I'm just saying that there's definitely an opportunity here at some point. Don't want anybody catching any falling knives, but this seems a little bit extreme.
Where is it at currently?
Currently, it's sitting at 354 after closing today at 373.
Ooh.
Yeah.
345. I would maybe think about.
Arfin in the chat says Facebook says their numbers for Q3 will have an impact due to regulatory impacts.
So, just a couple other numbers that came out. Daily active users 1.91 billion as expected. Monthly active users 2.91 billion expected. Everything's pretty much average revenue per user 966 as expected. Analysts are expecting 49% revenue growth, which would represent the fastest revenue growth in 3 years as a company. This may be one of those that moves down, and then as we get more information, it actually moves up.
Yes. We see that way too often.
Yeah. We usually see the other way. We usually see it move up, and then it goes down.
Yeah.
It's like, don't get ahead of yourself. Don't get excited. I think, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised, because that's such an important thing is like revenue growth in a company like that.
It really is. So yeah, some pretty good stuff out of them. All right. Okay.
I'm looking for PayPal, and I'm looking for Spirit Airlines.
All right. So right now we got some. At least you can hear us. Yeah, I don't know what's up with the camera, guys. We'll just keep rolling here. As long as you guys are going to hang out with us, we'll be good. But as far as that's concerned, as far as earnings are concerned, we're just gonna keep rolling with them. Ford is now sitting up 2.16% after hours on an earnings beat. Rudy Brown brought up a really interesting point. He's like, Facebook beats by $1 billion and sells off 5%. Ford misses and goes up. Earnings makes no sense to me. But Ford didn't really. They missed on some revenue. They beat earnings, but that's how earnings play out. We always say that it's a 50-50 shot as far as where it goes and how investors respond to certain things. I haven't seen what the outlook is on Ford, but I'm willing to bet that they probably raised guidance on that, or at least came in line with their guidance. And then obviously Facebook with the regulatory concerns. I'm sure there's probably some sort of mention of Apple as well, because they've been having some issues with Apple and their services and all that good stuff. And when it comes to protecting data and all that good stuff. So I'm sure there's something in there that probably would prompt that. So just, there's always a reason why things go up or down, and you can never really explain why until everything comes out, and then it starts to make a little bit more sense. Just because they beat earnings doesn't necessarily mean it goes up, and vice versa. And Ryan Malin says, that's because Facebook has had a monster run over the last couple of months. Sell news. Yeah, and that was what we were mentioning before, about why this was doing this. And we've seen Facebook just make a monster move over the last week and a half in response to some of the other earnings that came out before it. And that's something you see pretty commonly. So it's really not all that surprising to see Facebook sell off, and we kind of expected this to happen. We got 370 of you guys hanging out with us. We certainly appreciate it in spite of some of the technical issues we had. But we got 170 likes, Fat Man Zoom. So we actually met our goal. So we certainly would certainly appreciate that, guys. If you haven't liked it yet, make sure you're hitting the thumbs up. We certainly would appreciate that as well. Thanks so much. We appreciate the support.
Nothing yet on Spirit Airlines, and nothing yet on...
Nothing on PayPal?
No, but there is. I'm just thinking about putting an order in for Facebook.
I mean, listen, Facebook's looking like a really compelling buy at this point. It really is. Now, again, it's going to continue to be very volatile, but this seems a bit crazy. A 4.5% sell off. What did you say? If
I said 10.
10%?
Oh, but what would it come down to?
10%, yeah. So 10% would be $70 down move. It would be around $330.
Yeah, but then I said when I looked at the actual chart, so I'm looking at 340 as like where I would get in. I just said
I know.
10%, but when I looked at the chart, I felt like I would be pretty comfortable establishing
356.
Yeah. I'm looking in. I want a deal, bro.
I hear you. You look at the daily chart.
345 was what I was looking at. Yeah.
Here's the daily chart at 356. Right here.
Yep.
And right now it's starting to bounce back up. It's at 358. So you can make the argument there that could be a really good spot. And we'll see how this shakes out. But I mean, those numbers are still pretty good, pretty solid. And the thing of it is, guys, Facebook, there's as long as we continue to see small businesses open back up and they need to get their name out there, they're going to leverage Facebook, Google, all the digital advertising platforms. The major ones are going to continue to do extremely well. So we still like Facebook, but we expected this move to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did say that.
We sure did.
I think it looks like I said 354 when I was looking at it before. So yeah, around there. So what's the 50-day? What was the 50-day on the daily?
On the daily chart for Facebook, the 50-day moving average is around 340.
Okay.
So
my only issue
that makes sense
is
too.
that I've just been spending money, so I only have like 15% cash.
Yeah.
So I need deals, and I have my Fat Man Zoom account, so I have Facebook in there. But seems like some people are getting in around that 356, 355 mark. Few people.
Yeah. I mean, obviously scale in, and that's what we talk about all the time, not going all in on one specific price, but certainly you can make a case there for a potential buy zone, at least for a starter, or maybe to add to around that 356. It's starting to have a pretty healthy bounce here now. Let's go back to the 5-minute chart and see what it's doing after hours. And yeah, we got a pretty decent bounce going on here.
What's up, Latifa? Latifa Electrical Engineers in the house.
Oh man, haven't seen her in a minute. What's up, bro? How awesome is it that everybody's hanging out, even though we have no camera? We got 375 of you guys in here hanging out. Just goes to show how important audio is. We certainly appreciate you guys sticking with us. If you give the thumbs up for us staying live through all this BS, we certainly would appreciate it. If you're just joining, we are Own the Chaos, and you haven't visited the channel before, we certainly encourage you guys to hit the subscribe button if you're not already. We do this every day, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. We go live from Monday through Thursday, and then we go live again on Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's called Stock Watch Sunday. We kind of give a preview of what we're expecting throughout the week. If you guys want to hang out and be a part of those live streams every week, every day, then hit the subscribe button. And more importantly, hit that notification bell, because then you'll get notified when we go live, in case you lose track of time like me. I lose track of time all the time.
So Ford did raise guidance, and they raised it substantially.
Oh, wow.
They actually raised their full year expectations by 3.5 billion up to between 9 and 10 billion. Does that make sense?
Wow. Yeah.
So that's huge.
It's very significant.
That's over 30%. So they raised it to between 9 and 10 billion this year. Huge increase, and that's why a revenue miss doesn't matter, people.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. That's
guidance is way more important than just about anything else. Okay, so it looks like we see some movement here on Apple. It's down around PayPal. Jesus. PayPal is down 3.5% here after hours. So I imagine they're.
Yep, got it. They slightly beat earnings per share estimates were $1.13. They came in at $1.15. Slightly beat on revenue, $6.32 billion. They came in at 6.24.
Wow. So a little bit.
Oh, they missed on revenue. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. They missed on revenue.
Okay, missed on revenue, 6.24 billion to 6.27 expected. So just a barely missed. I'm actually surprised by this, Fat Man Zoom. We went into this afternoon, you guys, expecting some pretty big numbers from PayPal, and perhaps maybe we were expecting too much. And to use your words, like you like to say all the time, perhaps they're a victim of their own success. We just continue to push their expectations higher.
Yeah, it's not. It's actually 6.32 is were the estimates. That's the accurate one.
I was going off of Reuters.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I confirmed it a few. So okay, not nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Still,
and you can't miss. PayPal can't miss right now.
Right.
You can't miss with the climate. So this is not a good thing for them. Not worried about them for the long term, but I would be hesitant. To jump in right now.
Right now, for sure. But I definitely think that there's another opportunity here for them too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I would watch PayPal over the next day or so, maybe leading into next week, to see if this bottoms out somewhere. So we come out to the daily chart again on PayPal. And you could make an argument that on the daily chart, perhaps around we're at 285 right now. So on the daily chart, next stop for this could be around 277. 277.02 is kind of where I'm seeing this, because you guys can see that where this was a previous double top and then came through and broke up over that. So this comes back down and retest 277. We know that former or old resistances become new supports. So that could be a good spot for it. The 50 days at 281. So it all makes sense that 277 area, 280 could be a relatively decent spot to maybe grab a starting position, or maybe add to. Whatever you guys decide to do is completely up to you. You could just not touch it at all. But of course, do your own due diligence on this thing. But it definitely looking like we could see a pretty strong overreaction on PayPal on that. Looks like a pretty decent opportunity if we start to see this bottom out, maybe bounce a little bit, Fat Man Zoom.
Yeah, I think where I would go to is I'd go to Square. And I'm real quick. I'm pulling up Square's next earnings date.
I think it's next week or the week after.
It typically is a week after PayPal.
Yeah.
So Square looks like they're reporting earnings on August 5th. Yeah. So next week.
Yeah.
If it's already down 2%. If this continues to come down, if they beat,
then that would be a big trade.
yeah, I would be more looking to that and then just letting PayPal sort of digest and whatever.
Yeah.
They have had a greater move in the past few months comparatively to PayPal, so they have a little bit further to fall in general. But yeah, if this has a substantial move down, I think that's the place I'd be looking.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can make cases for both of them, but I like your case on Square. Absolutely.
Now they just everybody's been beating and crushing it.
Yep.
So like anybody that's reporting now, it's just been a tough spot. So this bodes well for Square because now it sort of levels out.
Yeah, I agree. If you guys are just joining us, we got 382 of you guys in the house. Certainly appreciate you guys if you hit that thumbs up button. If you're just tuning in, our camera froze, but we still got the audio, so we're still going to hang out with you guys. Facebook came in and crushed earnings and it got beaten down a little bit over concerns of some regulatory issues, but it looks as if it is having a really solid bounce back. It came down as low as 353 after closing the day at 373, and now bouncing back up, sitting at 361. So what was an over 5% drop off, now only down around 3%. Ford came in and beat earnings as well. Pretty solid beat, but they missed on revenue. However, they raised guidance, so that's why that's up over 2% here after hours. Then we had PayPal that came in and beat earnings but missed revenue pretty handily. It's now coming back down. As you guys can see, we were talking about that 277 area. Could be starting to be tested here, now sitting at 279 as a potential support. So breaks through that, it might get a little hairy, but if it holds it, I think it could be a good spot. So let's just watch that area for PayPal. Qualcomm came in and crushed earnings. They absolutely annihilated it. And you can make the argument here that there's a potential bull flag pattern forming here after hours on the 5-minute chart. Looks pretty solid. Not a really steep sell-off after the huge run-up here after hours. Qualcomm crushed it.
Yeah, it's looking good. And just so you guys are aware, tomorrow morning, pre-market, not too much going on, but we have MasterCard, we have Overstock.com, we have Valero. If you guys are interested, maybe Valero gives us some indications around oil, but we shall see. And then tomorrow, after hours, is the big dog.
Yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah.
And it'll be cool, too, because Freddie will be in the house. So Freddie Valoy will be every Thursday.
Yep.
Resident spot, so he's going to be here, and that should be really cool.
Yeah. I am looking forward to Freddie. Tomorrow's going to be a huge day. We got Robinhood, we got Amazon, we got Freddie Valoy. It's going to be great. And for the near 400 of you guys hanging in, make sure you come back tomorrow for that. We'll be live at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be a great day, Fat Man Zoom. I cannot wait. So you guys hit that notification bell. Get notified when we go live tomorrow for that. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be exciting, fun, and hilarious all at the same time.
And PayPal lowered guidance. That's not good.
That is definitely not good.
All right, guys. We will see you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys, so much for hanging in. We certainly appreciate it. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.